Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. It is 7:39 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this second day of June 2021. Taking a look at Doge, not a coin I usually spend a lot of time on, but it's had a lot of movement. It's pretty much been the progenitor of a lot of the bullish activity we see across the board here. A couple things. It's Dogecoin, so it's the epitome of who knows what the heck it's gonna do, because it just it just does its own thing and it goes out into no man's land. Sometimes it's just nuts. But looking at it objectively from where we're at, and I don't really care about the fundamentals of anything. Just give me the chart. That's all I need. So there's a couple resistance zones right here for Doge, and you can actually see where it got halted on the daily. This is a flat Kijun-sen, which is, Kijun-sen is the second most important area of support or resistance on any chart in Ichimoku, the strongest being Senko Span B. But for day traders, short-term swing traders, mid-term swing traders, the Kijun-sen is kind of your bread and butter level. Most of the types of trading systems within the Ichimoku system involve the Kijun-sen being one of the triggering pieces of analysis before you would consider going long or short. Anyways, a long, flat level of the Kijun-sen represents a lot of strength. So it's very hard for price to close above it. Not necessarily trade above it, like to have some activity above it, but to close above it. And then we have the top of the cloud, Senko Span A. That's another area of resistance. So there's a pretty hard, very difficult level to see Doge cross above, where it really needs to do that. But adding to the pressure from moving any higher is what we've got going on here. If you look down below in the RSI, we've shifted and maintaining our bear market overbought and oversold levels. We've hit our first overbought level at 55, and then we haven't visited 65 yet. So we're right on top of 55. This is the second time we're kind of testing this since we broke down below it back in the 12th of May. So this is a naturally resistive zone that we're at. And then when we look at the composite index, we see it has a very steep rise as well, out of proportion to what price action is doing. And what I mean by that is actually, no, it's not. Never mind. I take that back. It's not out of proportion to what price action is doing. It's actually not printing a divergence at all. Never mind. I take that back. But the slope is nonetheless pretty steep here. It's relatively in line with what we have the Tenkan-sen going on there. And then we have the percent B. It's still technically neutral. So could we see a huge pop-up out of here? Sure. The weekly chart... the weekly chart is kind of one that you should keep an eye on, because on the weekly chart, we've come down to our oversold levels. And currently on the weekly, we are crossing back above 65. And the percent B oscillator is crossing above 0.8. Those two things right there are very bullish. And if you believe that long-term charts are stronger, more relevant, and have greater weight than short-term charts, then right now, the weekly chart is the one telling us that this is going to move higher. And it could move higher. How high could it go? Let's check that out. That's why I love fib extensions, because they are very helpful in giving us a good idea of where something will halt. So the 618 extensions at 86 cents, and then we have the 786. So the 100% extensions up at $2.16. I don't know if you can imagine Doge at $2.16. It probably sounds as ridiculous as saying Doge was going to be worth 20 cents at one point, but nonetheless, that's where it is. This is what we're looking at on the current weekly. It looks pretty darn bullish. We're above the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen, and the volume on this week is greater than last week's, which is good. But nonetheless, the volume has dropped off quite a bit. And a lot of this pump here is, just the kind of the short-term reaction to news and being listed on Coinbase, and the Coinbase effect can have a big rise on things, but it's the definition of buy the rumor, sell the news. Look at any cryptocurrency that has had an announcement from Coinbase that it's going to be listed. It has a huge major bull run, and then 9 times out of 10, what happens when it is finally listed? It sells off. Buy the rumor. If it's confirmed, then that good news, that hopefully good news has already been priced in, so you sell the news. And that's what's going on, and what we will see happen with Dogecoin more than likely. So, I mean, just keep an eye on it, because again, on the weekly, and it's only Wednesday, got half a week left here. A lot can change. But on the weekly, it looks pretty good. On the daily chart, it looks like we are into some resistance zones. And just checking the 4-hour just for the heck of it. Oh, yeah, I wanted to point out that there's another resistance zone in there. That's our fib extension. But if we do a Fibonacci retracement, this wick down here is not the low. It's the next higher low. That's the important one. And we draw fib retracements from that level to the strong bar of the move, not to the next swing high. That's not how that changed almost 10 years ago. Yes, and so this is it's a 618 Fibonacci retracement, which is also naturally very resistive. So not difficult to see why we see some resistance. The question I have is, all right, if it's going to continue down lower, how low will it go? Well, we have a couple of price levels to take a look at. The first one below this high, below here, is the high volume node at 30 cents. But again, get some extension tools here. From this swing down to here, and let's assume that the high at 46 of the day is what we're looking at. So yes, the 50% fib at 29 cents is just below the high volume node at 30 cents. So the 30-cent range is where I would see it coming down to as its first kind of bounce. But ultimately, if you really want to look at where the price direction points, it's down at that an area I've been talking about for a bit, is that 9 to 12 cent range. There's a 1618 extension from the current swing. That's what's right there. And I don't actually know off the top of my head if that is, I don't remember. Strong bar is this move here. Yeah, the 382 Fibonacci retracement from this major swing, that's at 12 cents. It's in that same value area. So yeah, that's where 11 to 12 cents, 9 to 12 cents, that's where I would see a great area, at least for me, not financial advice, just for me, where I would look at possibly putting in some buy limit orders. Just want to see what it does over the month of June. That does it for me. 8.5 minutes is long enough to do on Doge. From all of us here at Exchange Rates UK, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.